Everybody, one of the greatest words of expression that one could make in this earthly realm is the word peace. It's not just a term or a greeting, but it's a prayer that we would make to you and you would make it to us because we believe and we stand on everybody wanting peace on the earth. I'd like to first send a shout out and a great thanks to Out of the Mud Inc. for allowing me to come on this platform and speak to our people concerning our summer initiative. I'd like to also give a shout out to Fly City Blackout and Flint After Dark for carrying this on their programs and platforms this evening. You're greatly appreciated. I want to say to all of you, no matter if nobody tells you anything about whatever good you do, know that the big man sees your good and that your good will be rewarded. So whether man recognizes it or not, the big fella recognizes it. And that's all we should really be concerned about in the end. Today, I'd like to talk briefly about squash the beef before the grief summer initiative. The Peacekeepers Global Initiative, founded by Captain Dennis Muhammad of Columbus, Ohio, over 15 years ago, has a chapter in Flint, the 33rd chapter, which for the summer of this year, 2024, have came up with something that we feel is gravely needed in our city and really throughout the country, but an initiative to squash beef before there's grief. We have plenty parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters who are suffering and at funerals crying over a loss of loved ones over simple things that could have been squashed had we had the right training and mediation and conflict to know how to intervene and help before the matter arises to taking of one's life. So on May 31st, 2024, at 6 p.m. at 2918 Flushing Road, which is the Save-A-Lot parking lot, we have a billboard going up for 12 weeks. On this flyer, you see squash the beef before the grief, and in the middle, you have a peacekeeper who's standing in between two men who are appearing to argue or have a differences of agreement about something. And we're mediating that difference to squash the beef. Now listen at this, at the end, before the grief. And at the end of the grief, you see a casket with flowers on it. Now we're tired of the only time you see us gathered together and handing out flowers is when we're going to a funeral for a loved one. Let's make it normal to hand out flowers and celebrate life rather than hand out flowers going to a send-off from a loss of life. Now, at this billboard on the 31st of May at 6 p.m., we're going to have a press conference. The press conference will break down what the summer initiative is, what it's going to be doing, and how it would help impact violence in the city of Flint. Now, we're not doing this alone as peacekeepers. We have collaborators and partners from all walks of life because no one group, one person, or one magnificent organization can stop what is happening with violence. It's going to take all of us concerned, all of us with the right spirit and attitude to want to see peace be involved. So we're not turning anybody down that's striving for peace to be with us to help bring about this peace. So with our collaborators and partners on the 31st, we'll have a press conference and some of our collaborators will be speaking about how they're working interchangeably with us to help reach the people who really need reached in the community. Now, I know the question on many of the minds is, what are y'all doing? We don't see y'all, this, that, and the other. You know, the same old stuff people like to say when somebody trying to do good to help our people. Well, it's a simple answer. The work we do cannot be seen nor put on video nor recorded because young people and the people we're going to don't care to be on video and film that you're trying to help them resolve an issue. And they don't want to be known for you being around them to help in the conflict. They just want to know that you care enough about them to see that a conflict mediation is had to bring about some form of peace so that they can move their separate ways and nothing, arises to the loss of life. So you won't be able to see a video, you won't be able to see a TikTok, or Instagram, a YouTube show on what we're doing. All you can do to measure the work is to look at where we say we went. And if you see a decline from the area we in, from how it used to be, then you know the work being done is having some effect. Now, before I move on, I wanted to express how the meaning of peace is an acronym that I call positive elevation activates conscious. You following it? Positive elevation activates consciousness effectively. That's peace. I'm going to say it again. Positive elevation activates consciousness equally. So when you go out to express peace and you really intentionally want to see peace, one of the common factors to use to measure that, since you're not able to put it on video and show people what you're doing for good reason, is you see how much hope it brings to the people. Hope is a thing that when it's not present, people live under survival mode. But when it is present, they live under aim and purpose mode. So when you give a man or a woman an aim and a purpose in life, and they grab on to that aim and that purpose, they move out on the hope that they will be successful in what they're doing to bring about the aim and purpose that they have. We call it in the spiritual world faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. So why would the substance be hoped for, but we have not yet seen the evidence of that substance played out? Because in hope, you have a bond with a power stronger than the power in yourself that attaches to you to pull you forward to be progressive in that which the Creator placed in us for us to live in peace and harmony. So, the Peacekeepers Global Initiative is not an initiative just for the city of Flint. It's not an initiative just for the 50 states of 51 states, United States of America. It's not just for the continent of Africa, continent of Asia. It's not just for South America. The peacekeepers are for the entire planet Earth and everybody on the planet Earth. If you show me a man and woman that don't want peace, I'll show you a man and woman that's insane. You won't meet nobody, no matter belief, creed, color, whatever they call themselves, whatever they want to be. I guarantee you at the root of all men and women is peace. So I said at Pastor Powell's church Sunday when he allowed me to come up and speak to the congregation about the peacekeepers. I said Jesus on his ascension was telling the disciples, peace I give you, peace I leave with you. Why I give them peace and why I leave them with peace? Because there's nothing greater that I can give you other than that. Peace. What can you find greater in this life than peace? Name me one thing. Money is not greater than peace. Large family is not greater than peace. Having mansions and many homes and many cars is not greater than peace. I know rich people that committed suicide. They didn't have peace. But I can show you a poor person with peace is living better than a rich person in chaos. So peace is magnificent. Peace I give you, peace I leave with you. There's nothing greater than peace. Now, after the press conference on May 31st, on June the 1st, that Saturday, from 1 to 4 p.m., Brother George, we're having conflict mediation training by a national conflict resolution trainer out of New Orleans, Brother Willie Muhammad. This will be a 3-hour training seminar at Higher Quality of Life Ministries, 5601 North Saginaw Street. Pastor Ronnie Wiggins, the pastor of that church. I'd like to thank him for being one of our partners and collaborators in this work. He heard about this work and he jumped on board and offered his building for this training without even taking a breath. He did it so quick, I had to do a second look. I said, you sure, brother? He said, oh man, come on. So in this 3-hour training, everyone who stays and participates in the full training will receive a gift card at the end of the training, and they will receive a certificate of participation for completing the 3-hour summary course of conflict mediation training. And then we will have a sign-in sheet for all those who want to get certified in conflict mediation, which is an 8-hour course. So it'd be a 2 4-hour day course. Then we will set that up, and during the summer, from May through July, or June and July, those 2 months, we will be setting dates to do the 8-hour conflict mediation training to certify people in conflict mediation. Now, we want those who are serious and sincere to take the training, even though we're offering free of cost. No one has to bring a dime. Our collaborators and partners took care of that. So no one has to bring in a dime. We're going to take care of the training, but we don't want you to take it just to take it. Utilize it. If you are on a street and you see the young people riled up and seem to be acting in a negative manner, don't be afraid to approach them. Just know how to approach them and try to intervene in conflict and say a good word to them and try to bring it down so that you can squash the beef before grief. Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes, sir.
What caused you to get involved with the peacekeepers, and how long have you been involved?
Well, the peacekeepers is an extension of the arm of the instructions given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in 10-10-15 Justice or Else movement.
Okay.
He stated to the world he need 10,000 fearless men and women to go out into the streets and stand between our people and the guns in order to squash the beef before there's grief. Out of that 10,000 fearless movement, Captain Dennis Muhammad, emeritus now, created or formed the Peacekeepers.
Okay.
The Peacekeepers' mission and goal is to help bring about a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. To do that requires training.
Okay. And what year did you say that started? When?
10-10-15 is when the call was made.
So 2015.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've been involved since 2015?
No, I've been involved for about 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, about 4, going on 5.
How impactful would you say Peacekeepers has been in Flint?
Ooh, now that's a good question. The impact streetwise, for those who may be watching in the streets, they know the impact has been magnificent. The impact in the open or on the political side or something has been minimum. But the streets is our goal. But there's peace needed in politics. There's peace needed in domestic affairs. There's peace needed in the schools. There's peace needed in the hospitals. There's peace needed on the jobs. So we're involved in teaching a mediation of conflict dealt with in all forms of life that you may deal with. But our greatest asset has been in the streets. You know, we've been involved. It's people who can attest. Brother Jalil Allen Bay can attest. He can bear witness, as we say. We've been called to go to domestic issues where the young lady is being beat up by the man and the police can't get there fast enough, so they ask us to come and get involved and try to help mediate it. And we've done it with success, and she was able to get her stuff and leave peacefully. And
so the Peacekeepers is, in a sense, a community monitoring organization that assists or to a point what law enforcement can't cover.
So we step in the gap to help where law enforcement is really not trained to do. So law enforcement are not social workers. They're not trained and taught how to deal with the social needs of our community, but the peacekeepers are. So we step in that gap and take care of that. You, as the host of Out of the Mud Inc., you can bear witness because you called me yourself to an incident where it was windows busted out and guns pulled out on people. And
So I'll speak on that. So there was a young adult gave me a phone call, and they were dealing with some issues at the apartment complex that they were living at, and they didn't want to revert back to what they had been trying to come out of. You know, they had the tools needed in order to handle the issue in a certain way, but they didn't want to use those tools, and they didn't know what to do. So they felt comfortable enough to give me a call, and I'm like this. I don't want to see any loss of life, and I want to put the most buffer or barrier in between the issues as possible. Now, some people don't believe in law enforcement. I do believe in law enforcement. I just believe there's a right way to do it. And it shouldn't always look a certain way. So, and that day it looked great because you were one of the first people I called in order to try to make sure that those young adults did not create more issues for themselves than that had already started. And based on that phone call, you got on the hotline and you were able to get people to show up immediately, and no one from that situation has been hurt, harmed, or had to go to jail because of some issues that they were having that they could work out.
yes, sir, you are correct. And from that what you just said is one of the many purposes, reasons, and means for the peacekeepers. We can't keep trying to put all our eggs in one basket and say we want law enforcement to make our community safe. No, if you live in the community, you help make the community safe, and they come in when it's beyond your control and ability to do what you're trying to do to keep it safe. But we can't expect them, if our neighbors are playing excessively loud music at 3 a.m. and everybody trying to go to sleep because this is a working block. And yeah, you can call the police for the noise, but why you just don't get up, go over there, and try to speak to the people, into them, to help them understand why they should respect the environment around them.
Understood.
Because the police, all they do is bring about resentment and correction. Either correct the problem and then they have resentment for you for calling them about the problem.
So what about the people that resent you for even asking or letting them know that they are being a nuisance of some sort? You may not use those words, but I'm saying, hey, Mr. Jalil X, I got to go to work in the morning, and do you mind turning that music down because I got bills to pay and got to go to work? And you're like, well, I went to work. I ain't got to worry about what you got to do. This is my house. I'm doing what I need to do, and you just figure it out. So what?
So that's a beautiful analogy. In conflict mediation or conflict resolution training, you know what you would do?
What's that?
Go knock on the door. They answer the door. How you doing, young man or young sister? I said, do you mind if I step in and speak with you for a second? If they say okay, you say, oh, I love that sound. That's a lovely beat. You know, who made that record? Who made that music? You know, I'm not too hip with all the new stuff. And then you get them, they get the experience, say, and then once you get that smile and they let that guard down, then you come in and you say, brother or sister, can I ask you a question if you don't mind? Yeah, go ahead. Do you think it would be okay to lower the sound of the music for a little while, you know, and then they say, they not going to, the way you do it, they not, no, I ain't finna know. They not going to do it. They going to be, but if you don't know how to talk, you going, hey, look, man, you know, I'm trying to go to bed so I can go to work tomorrow, and, you know, the music kind of loud. Can you turn it down, man? No, can't turn it. But if you, hey, I'm telling you, it's all in the approach, your expression, and how your spirit gonna come across.
So okay, I take your advice and I go, and so some of us, we look at it like, I don't want to have to walk on eggshells for something that I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells about. So how do I get past that feeling of being feeling like a square, just so I could tell somebody to have some common decency?
Learn to love your people more than they love themselves. If you don't do what you do out of love, it don't matter your reason for going over there. The right spirit won't be felt. But when you love your people, irregardless to them not loving themselves, then you approach them with the love of God in yourself to give you the power to express what you need to say, that they may be able to feel your spirit and know that it's coming from a place of love, and they'll respect it.
Okay, I get you. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left. So with that, I hear what you're saying, but the scenario, it was an older type person talking to a young person. I got the same album they got. I just make sure I cut my music down at a decent time to respect people so they can be asleep. And, you know, because I just don't want that stuff to happen to me, so I don't do it to others. So I go, hey, man, look, I got the same album, love it, blah, 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 but I got to go to sleep, man. I got to work in the morning. And then now, like, I don't care about what you got to do and what they got to do with me. So now what I do, because they ain't taking the brother stuff and things like that.
When the comeback, so when the comeback comes like that, oh, brother, it ain't like that. Let me tell you something. You're a valuable young man to this world.
But and we're the same age. We're the same. I'm looking at like,
but it don't matter. If you let them know how valuable they are and you speak into them power, wisdom, and life and love, they have no choice but to return it. A negative and a positive brings about a negative, but a positive and a positive brings about a positive. So
pretty much you're saying I have to be mindful of how I respond regardless of how they.
You have to come up. Like, so we have in a study guide called Rising Above Emotions into the Thinking of God. If we're not trying to think like God, we won't be able to deal with our people at all, because our people are all over the place and they got a lot of different emotions that deal with the things that they try to handle trauma with. We're the most traumatized people on the planet Earth, black people in America. We have trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, and we don't have the ability to get over one trauma before another trauma hits us. So here it is, one of the only solutions to help soothe some of the trauma is to activate peace. Peace in your life. So you can be going through a hardship and a struggle, but if you got peace of mind and contentment of heart, you can go through the struggle with a smile. But if you're angry and upset, then you blame the world, and then you look at somebody that look at you and you hate them because you're hating yourself, then you create chaos and cause violence. So we're just trying to get our people to see love thyself training is the number one thing to help you deal with not being violent towards people who look like you, and to establish peace is the greatest way to live in your community, because without peace, your community no longer has the end part. So, you know, I heard it said, you call where you stay a neighborhood, but we don't took the neighbor off and call it the hood, because we're not that neighborly with one another anymore.
Okay.
What's wrong with a decent smile and a how you doing today when you see your neighbor come out the house?
Right.
How you doing, Brother George?
Hello, sir.
Everything good today? All right.
Right.
I'll be seeing you. You know, we'll walk past each other and give a stare, a blank look, won't say too much or
That
nothing.
mean mug.
Mean mug. Because we don't allow life to beat us down instead of us take control of life and let it lift us up. So peace is a lifting up agent, and it's a powerful agent. So I thank you for that question, because I know without peace, a lot of the interference of the things happening in this city would take a toll on me. But because God has blessed me to know how to input peace in my everyday routine in life, I don't let what doesn't have the ability, I don't have the ability to change, bother me. What I do is put in work to make changes where I can make change, and I'm happy with doing that, and that brings me peace.
So what you got? What you holding there? And before we cut off, I go over everything that you said as far as the events and stuff.
Right.
And what is this that you're holding here?
So this right here, the Genesee County Prevention Coalition recognized the Peacekeepers Global Initiative Flint chapter for being prevention champions. So it says, thank you for being a prevention champion. This certificate is awarded to the Peacekeepers Global Initiative Flint. A prevention champion is someone who inspires others to take preventative actions to change the lives of youth and the community around them. This certificate is in recognition of your efforts to be a prevention champion. Genesee County is a better place due to the commitments you make every day to prevention, partnerships, and recovery. And we want to thank the Genesee County Prevention Coalition for recognizing us for the work we do. We don't do the work looking for recognition, or we shouldn't do it looking for recognition, but when it comes, it's helpful on the human side to know that somebody recognizes something good that you're doing. Because as a human being, we're still trying to overcome impediments that infringes on our will. And some of those impediments could be a person feeling down because they put a lot of work in and nobody recognizes it. So somebody recognizes it, makes you feel a little up on the human side. Now, I wanted to give a roll call of events again. I'm going to hold up this flyer. This Saturday, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend, starting at City Hall, downtown Flint at 1:30. We're having a Silence the Violence walk put on by a group called the Believers United in Ministries out of Detroit, Michigan. I was given a call by one of the members of the Church of the Messiah who asked the peacekeepers, would we come and be involved? This walk, they're asking you to wear orange or a memorial shirt of anyone who you lost to any form of violence. Orange is the color for gun violence, so that's why they ask you to wear orange.
Didn't know that.
So the walk would take place from Flint City Hall back lot to the U of M parking lot on Saginaw Street. Once we reach there will be a plethora of speakers. I've been blessed to be asked to be one of the speakers at this event, and I'll be speaking about our upcoming events on the 31st and the 1st at this event. So I want to thank you for that. And again, the billboard, May 31st at 6 p.m. at Save-A-Lot parking lot on Ballinger Highway. Press conference for the 12-week billboard. And what I want to say, I'm not sure, but what I was told by the billboard company and by law enforcement, that there's never been a billboard in the city of Flint inside the 36 square miles dedicated solely to violence prevention. So I didn't know that. So this is a big deal, having this image.
That's amazing and unfortunate at the same time.
Yes. Going up. And then the following day, June 1st, from 1 to 4, doors open at 12:30. We'll be at Higher Quality of Life Ministries, 5601 North Saginaw Street, for our conflict mediation training seminar. Come out and be with us. I thank you for that. And then don't forget to get your Final Call newspaper, the greatest black-owned paper in America. This week's edition, The Fall of America. And it's talking about the global voices rising against the violence happening in the Gaza. So get your Final Call newspaper. See one of the brothers out, pick one up, and get one from.
Where do you worship at? Where's your mosque?
Our study group is located at 1417 Stevenson Street,
okay,
right in front of Ballinger Park, off of DuPont and Stevenson.
Okay.
We're open at 11 a.m. on Sundays, 7:30 on Mondays, 7:30 on Wednesday, and 7:30 p.m. on Friday evenings. We, the Peacekeepers, mirror the nation as the minister is the father and the beginner and the starter of the idea of the Peacekeepers, and the work that the Peacekeepers do go hand in hand with the work that many of our members of the nation does in the streets to help bring peace in the community.
Okay.
So I thank Out of the Mud Inc. for allowing me this brief time to come on. I thank Fly City Blackout, Brother Dewan in the house, and I want to thank Flint After Dark, Brother Terrence, for putting this on your platform.
Terrence O'Sales.
Terrence O'Sales. Like, share, subscribe. And I want to put on all those who are watching and all those who are sincere about peace to come and join with the Peacekeepers to help bring about peace in our communities. It don't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you say you are. If you say you want peace, walk with us, stand with us, work with us to do this work. You can be yourself and still help bring about peace to this city and hopefully throughout this world.
Brother Jalil, I'd like to say thanks for all you do in the community and for coming and choosing to spread the word here on this platform, because we need it. And keep doing what you're doing, and as much as I can support, I will support.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Peace out.